Jacob hadn't been to a Jewish service since his bar mitzvah at 13 years old. Like many secular Jewish people, Jacob felt there was no need for God or religion. It was enough to live a good life and be a good person. In the eyes of the world, he was a good man, but the years dealt him some hard blows. The battle to save the life of his first wife proved harder than his 20 years of service in the Navy. His one healthy kidney wasn't enough to save her. He couldn't suspend the inevitable. But even with the death of his wife, he did not seek God. Years later, a friend, Sarah, invited him to a Messianic Rosh Hashanah service where Jesus was clearly proclaimed as the Messiah. Curiosity was written all over Jacob's face as he eagerly approached our life staff member. "Thank you for the service. I've never heard anything like this before." This curiosity drove him into the scriptures, studying and reading. He attended every service and fall feast. The light from the bonfire at the Sukkot celebration illuminated Jacob and Sarah as they danced the Hava Nagila. Jacob was reveling in the joys of the Jewish life cycle for the first time in his life. Weeks later, in the cool of the evening service, Jacob stood and boldly interrupted. He had been reading the Bible and needed to share what he found. How could any Jewish person read Isaiah 53 and not see Jesus? Being secular, he had never paid much attention to the scriptures. But now, the power of God's word moved him from his secular apathy to a newfound faith in Jesus the Messiah. Jacob's faith immediately began to impact those around him. His grown children were furious at the knowledge of his upcoming baptism. But eventually, they both came to faith and were baptized a year later. Sarah and Jacob were later married, and the shared faith has brought peace to the whole family. They continue to share the truth of Messiah with those around him. Jacob has gone from a secular position of trying to be a good person to sharing with others the goodness of God in Messiah Jesus. Life in Messiah staff around the world are reaching out to secular Jewish people who hold the same mindset. Most, like Jacob, have never considered the validity of the scriptures. Most have never heard a presentation of the gospel. Would you pray and ask God what part He would have you play in sharing the gospel with these precious people, lost in their own good? Visit lifeinmessiah.org/secular to learn more and find ways you can be involved.